What's up, design family, and welcome back to another episode of the FittDesign podcast. On today's episode, we're so excited to bring to you FittBite, a mini-series in which we take topics that we've discussed in the past on all things sportswear, graphic design, product design, sourcing, and manufacturing, and we condense them down to easy, bite-sized episodes that can easily fit your busy schedules. On today's episode, we'll be looking at both woven and knitted fabrics. These are terms you probably heard of before, but what do they mean? That's exactly what we'll be discussing in today's FittBite episode. The main difference in both woven and knitted fabrics resides in the ways in which these fabrics are composed and constructed. Knitted fabrics are made out of strings of yarns looped together in a lattice-like structure. Think of your grandmother's knit. Whereas woven fabrics are much more like a wicker basket weave, where we have a bunch of yarns creating perpendicular, horizontal, and vertical lines. The lines going from left to right are considered our weft yarns, versus the lines going from up to down are considered our warp yarns. Now that we've looked at how woven and knitted fabrics differ from a fundamental construction standpoint, how do these differences manifest in a physical form in both of these types of textiles? We'll start off by considering the elasticity of both types. Knitted fabrics are highly porous and therefore offer far more elasticity than their woven counterparts, which are more stiff and have far less inherent stretch because they just don't have as many micro holes as knitted fabrics. Stability-wise, woven fabrics offer a lot more dimensional stability, whereas knitted fabrics tend to be more prone to losing their structure over time. As a result, knitted fabrics are far less durable than their woven counterparts, which are more robust and tend to take on a lot more wear and tear over a longer period. When it comes to water repellency, knitted fabrics absorb water faster and more easily, whereas woven fabrics tend to wick water away from their surfaces more readily. As a result, woven fabrics is always the type of textile choice for things like snow sports gear, where having an outer shell made out of a water-resistant material is essential in terms of maintaining the integrity and the functionality of the garment. Because of their tighter and less porous construction, woven fabrics also offer far less air permeability than their knitted counterparts. As a result, almost all windbreakers exclusively use woven fabrics on the outer core of their surfaces. That's to prevent the seepage of air from the outside to the inside, thereby compromising the functionality of the garment. From a care standpoint, woven fabrics require a little bit more care and attention because they're just much more prone to creasing. Their rigid structure tends to make them want to fold in and create crease lines much more readily than their knitted counterparts, which are a lot more inherently pliable and able to resist the effects of creasing. Also, it's important to note that a lot of woven fabrics are usually made out of synthetic materials, which makes it quite tough to iron them using conventional heat press methods. Last but not least, we have to consider the effects of cost and financial viability. Woven fabrics require a loom in their production process, which typically leads to higher upfront costs than knitted fabrics, which are much more modest in their construction techniques. At the same time, woven fabrics require far more yarns per square meter than knitted fabrics, which also contributes to these higher production costs. In conclusion, woven and knitted fabrics differ in their construction techniques. Whereas woven fabrics feature a wicker-like basket weave, knitted fabrics are a lot more similar to the type of knit you'd see on your grandma's handmade sweater. These construction techniques offer fundamental physical differences that range from things like elasticity, porosity, water repellency, and ultimately cost in the finished goods. In order to understand which of these two types of fabrics is right for you, you have to consider your use case scenario. If you're going for a garment that's offering much more flexibility and breathability, then knitted fabrics will be the right choice for you. If you're going for garments that require durability, water repellency, and the ability to allow less permeation of air, then consider woven fabrics. At the end of the day, you need to make sure that the decision is right for your customer base and ultimately the product that you're putting out. If you guys enjoyed this episode of FittBite, please consider leaving a review and letting us know what other episodes you'd like to see us do in the future. Thanks guys for tuning in to FittBite, and we hope to see you guys on the next episode.